Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are back with the analysis of the ban list. So a lot of people have been asking me, oh, what do you think of the ban list? What is gonna happen now? What is the best deck? Why is it Tritron? And can we use Engage in literally every deck possible? So all your questions, I hope I will answer them in this video. I'm gonna take a look at the ban list. I'm gonna take a look at the meta. I'm gonna take a look at everything that might have happened because of this ban list, and kind of discuss the future of the game for the next format, things that will come out, the new decks, etc. So, of course, we're gonna have to start with the problems of the last format. We all have been there. There have been a lot of problems. It has been interesting though. Like, not even more than a month ago, people were complaining about Alistair, Shadow, Winda, stuff like that, and of course Dragon Link as well. And then Lightning Overdrive hits, and suddenly everyone is complaining about Tanky having to go to 1 for reasons that were not like there a couple of weeks ago. But the format has definitely changed from those decks to like the new better decks that came out of Lightning Overdrive, the Tritron, the Tri Brigade, and the Zoo deck lists. So those were a little bit of the problem, and yeah, let's just go into the ban list. You've all seen it before. I'll make the cards pop up on the screen. So let's talk about Dragon Link first. Dragon Link was easily the best deck of the format. Easily one of the best decks the game arguably has ever seen, with its sheer consistency, going first and going second potential. Just any 2 cards is combo, so all other 3 cards can just be anything random like hand traps. This deck's power level was on a whole different level for any other deck in the game right now. It was easily one of the best levels on tournaments. It may not have been represented as such, because there were just a lot of people that didn't want to play this deck or wanted to play other decks. So topping wise, etc., this deck did win a couple of events, but it should have been a very, very much higher representation. Arguably tier 0 status, because this deck was literally just insane. And now LP is finally gone. Of course, this was the culprit. This was a big part of the deck. Summoning any dragon from your deck, it's kinda sus, not gonna lie. It's just too insane. And yeah, now that LP is gone, that will definitely hinder the combo potential of the deck. And Striker Dragon is gone, and this is also very impactful. He's at 1 currently, but this makes it so that there are probably no more Rocket Recharger shenanigans. You can still play one, you still will play one, but it's just for later in the combo. The DMZ combo is definitely dead, the Buster Dragon lock. This definitely changes like the entire line of play. Like, you probably want to make it early because you want to have access to the field spell, but due to its, other effect of adding a card back, you will probably want to make him a little bit later in the combo. So it's getting kind of awkward if you mill cards with, for example, the Chaos Ruler or the Chaotical Magical Dragon. Yeah, this definitely changes up quite a lot. Yeah, definitely impacts the deck. Is the deck dead? No. It's just not. There are still too many good dragon cards. Levianeer is still easily searchable. Chaos Spaces at 3. Still, any 2 dragons plus extender is still a wild combo, and you can still go Pisty, even though that's not the best. It's still very good. They're just very, very good solid dragons. So I think that there are gonna be 2 routes. I'm gonna have the full Wombo Combo Chaos deck lists that will run stuff like the Chaos Emperor Dragon that we've seen before, like double Leviathan, like full Chaos Dragon, full Chaos mode. Just spamming the board full, being not as consistent but very versatile. And if you have a good hand, then you will just win instantly on the spot. I also still have the tidying lists that feature the Dragon Maid Chamber that will just end on Sphere Tidying, which is still just an FTK against a lot of decks, and it's really easy to do. It will probably play more staples, maybe even more trap cards like Solemn Strike could enter the deck, but to definitely just alter it to a more control deck than a combo deck, while still being able to just randomly OTK through the power of the Rockets and Boral Sword. So yeah, Dragon's still very, very viable. I still think it's definitely tier 1. We're gonna have to wait and see a little bit on where that goes. But yeah, Dragon's feels very solid. Then the second best deck was definitely Tri Brigade Zoo. Well, it's still a very solid deck. The deck is only missing the Drytrons, and that basically, well, people have been saying this online already a lot. The thing with Drytrons is Trident probably shouldn't have been banned. They should have just banned red. People have been saying that a lot. But that's not necessarily true. Because people were saying that one red is a combo. You normal red, send Ram, overlay for Chakanine, summon Ram, overlay for Trident, pop Ram, summon Chakanine back, overlay for Tiger Mortar, attached to the Chakanine effect, summon another one back, and you have 3 monsters. But that combo is on the other hand still accomplishable by just having Thorough Blade plus a Zoo, which is a list that I believe won the German event or the UK Invitational qualifier, where the guy was just playing triple Thorough Blade and just doing the exact same thing and drawing a card. So was the answer banning red? I don't think so. Banning the Trident is kind of harsh. Pure Zoo is definitely just dead right now since the turn 1 play is non-existent. This definitely hinders the setup of the Tri-Brigade decks, definitely hinders the setup of the Zoo engine. It's still a solid engine. You can still go 1 Zoo to Chakanine to Baron Blossom, which is still really nice, and from there on just combo further and still fill your grave with a bunch of cards. It's still a 1-card Zeus engine, which is still insane. It will be played with Tri-Brigade. I'm gonna go with probably. This is still a very good just engine of like only 4 cards in your main deck and the tanky you're already playing. And it's just an instant Zeus for going second, and it's just fodder for your Link monsters going first. So I don't know, it's still very solid. Tri-Brigade is definitely still one of the tier 1 decks of this format. Then the last deck that we have to mention is Drytron. Now Drytron got a bunch of support from Lightning Overdrive. Wasn't touched on the ban list at all. I would argue that this is probably the best deck this format. I'm kind of biased, you know that, I played the deck. Just out of sheer consistency, what this deck can do, the unfairness everything brings, it is definitely one of the best decks of the format, but it can easily die to multiple things like Drawn Lockbird, which is what holds the deck back quite a bit. Because you can just be the best deck, get countered by 1 card. I don't know, man. There's not really 1 card that counters Tri-Brigade, which is just like really nice. And yeah, it's a solid card. It's a solid deck. Tritron would be the best deck. I think not, just out of sheer easily counterable and easily outable. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what everyone decides to play, what lists they will settle on, and if everyone wants to main roll this format, which I don't think is correct. But yeah. So then, Dinosaur lost to Miscellaneosaurus. People have been saying that Dino is dead. It's not. It's not. You only need 1 Miscellaneosaurus turn 1. And does this hurt consistency? I guess. Not really. The thing is, they have 3 Oviraptor, 3 Fossil Tick. So if they want to get to their Misk, they will probably just go to their Misk. You only limit the chance that they have like a lot more after this. But this deck can still just do a full combo without any hindrance. It's just still degenerate card. His card at 1 doesn't really change anything except maybe their follow-up play or like their consistency a little bit. But this doesn't really do enough in my eyes. I really am not a fan of Dinos because it's just too degenerate. It can play through anything without trouble, and if you want to try to stop it, you get punished by a Misk. Getting punished by random Misk is now a little bit less like it's gonna happen less. Like for example, if you only open Oviraptor, you have to search your Misk. You can still do full combo probably if you have another baby, but now you can finally interrupt with the Oviraptor, which is a huge difference without this care of being punished. If they drew the 1 of Misk, it's just like a 1 of Kalpai, and then Celebrate Mirage Stalio. Solid card to bring back. This isn't even a good card, since it's the only Celebrate card that locks you into summoning, or only using the effects of fire. So, it's actually not that good. It never should have been banned, probably. It's way better to put Circle the 2 than to unban Mirage Stalio. It's way better to put Gazelle to 2 than to unban Mirage Stalio. It definitely will change the deck a little bit. Lady Debug will probably not see play anymore. We're gonna go back to the Flame Buffaloes and the Sea Archivers. That's gonna be cool. It did give the deck a huge boost for turn 1. A huge boost for turn 1. But for turn 2, this card does absolutely nothing because it locks you into using only fire effects. Cool card to come back. Should have been back a long while ago. And yeah, Celebrate has become a little bit better. Good for everyone, I guess. So, fine deck to exist. Then the card that we do have to talk about. Performable Joker and Double Iris. This isn't gonna change anything. Pens is still just garbage. I'm sorry, Triff. It's just still garbage. They have Engage. I am scared of this card. I am scared because we just lost one of the best control decks, which is Zoo, and we just got another good control deck back, which is Striker. Now, I'm not a big... I'm a huge fan of Sky Striker. I played the deck like on release, and I played in hybrid builds as well. It's just a solid deck. Engage putting it to 1 makes the deck playable, because it really wasn't playable. You can say it was playable, but it really wasn't playable. It was always missing something, and that something was Engage. Now that Engage is back, Striker on its own will be a very fine deck. It will definitely be a meta contender. It can definitely win events. Depending on the list, it's gonna be cool to see what this deck will do. But what I am scared of is splashing this card in the other decks. Now, this isn't really a splashable engine since Engage is at 1, and back in the day you only played like triple Engage, troll, and like one other card. Last night I played on twitch.tv/Tatsym with the new Banlist, where I stream over there, and we were playing some decks, and I was playing the best deck, Drytron, but I was stacking a Sky Striker package. I was just stacking in 5 cards. 1 Engage, 1 Anchor, 1 Drones, and then double Eagle Booster. And the entire idea behind the engine is to get to Eagle Booster, summon Mubeta Fafnir, the extra monster zone, and in case your opponent has Failure or a Forbidden or Impermanence, you can chain Eagle Booster and protect it, which is nice. And there's a big chance that you have 3 spells in the grave, so you can draw another card, which is quite easy to do. And yeah, overall, it actually performed kind of better than I expected it to. Like, honestly, it performed way better than I expected it to. Like, the standalone cards overall were like fine. Like, Widow Anchor is like an imperm at best, but like the Eagle Booster came up a bunch. If you open up the drones, you can just make an Appaloosa with the extra bodies instead of an IP, which is also really nice. And it just brought surprisingly high amount of versatility to the deck, and I quite liked it that it's only 5 cards. And in the extra deck, I'm only playing the Hayate and the Kagari. And that's just enough. I don't want to focus on Striker too much. But yeah, I'm very scared that this deck will be an engine in other decks as well. But for now, the usage is pretty limited because there's just not a good way to get to Engage. Unless you start playing stuff like Ray, but that's just really slow by getting it through Ray, attack, Hayate, Kagari added back, as that's kind of against the point, because you kind of want to just have 3 spells, add drones, summon Kagari, add back Engage, activate Engage again, search another card. But yeah, that doesn't really come up if Engage is only at 1. So I think that the pure deck is going to be very cool and very interesting. And I'm just kind of scared of what it will do for like other decks. I'm not really sure if there are any decks that can just play this, any decks that can easily just go to 3 spells. But yeah, it's always nice to get like the card back. So what I think are the best decks for the next format: Dragon League still up there, Trevigates is still up there, Drytron is definitely up there. And yeah, I do think that Sky Striker is actually pretty solid. And it's going to be very interesting to see what King's Court includes. There's going to be a couple of new cards that we haven't seen yet in there. And of course, in a couple of months, we're going to get another main set, which will bring support for all archetypes. And yeah, it's going to be a very cool WoW. I think overall, the balance is pretty solid. But I wish it could have done more. People will probably just go back to Summon Winda now, which is something that Jesse Cotton actually tweeted. People will, like, we changed from pretty interactive decks that were kind of unfair to just unfair cards like Winda and Herald of Ultimateness and like other like Floodgate type cards, which is just something that I really don't like. There's just, people are just gonna fall back and we are back to square one. That's kind of how I feel like. Like, we finally lost dragons, but now, I don't know, I feel like they just should have touched Alistair or like Shadows a little bit more, or maybe the Dogmatica engine, or like Outlick even, because people will also just be able to go back to there. And yeah, I really don't know where this format will go. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be cool to discover brand new things. But for the foreseeable future, we are still looking at a solid tier 1 format with tier 1 decks that are quite unfair. So that's going to be a lot of fun. For now, there's a lot of room to explore, a lot of things to explore, a lot of things to think about, deck build, test, play. And with multiple tournaments coming up in the near future, it's going to be very cool to see where the game goes. So yeah, do you like the ban list? Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Not sure how you guys like it. I wish they could have brought back a couple more cards. I'm just thinking like Harbor or Colossus. Like just bringing back half of TOS format. It's just very surprisingly because I didn't expect them to bring back Striker out of all the things that they could brought back. But maybe that's just something for the future. They may want to like push a little bit and then push a little bit again in the next ban list. So yeah, definitely let me know down below what you think of the ban list. If you want to see me play decks with the new ban list, then come to my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Tatsym. Link is also in the description down below. And definitely come to my Twitter account. Also link in the description down below for the best memes and other content. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.